Thank you for clicking on to my very first nighttime routine. This is my first time, so I am extremely nervous. So I really appreciate you watching this video. On this channel, I wanted to talk about my mental state and maybe some of the issues I'm dealing with on a daily basis. But I don't want to just talk about myself. I really would like to hear your comments and read about what you guys are going through or thinking about or dealing with. And so I want it to be more of an interactive channel. I've always kept a journal since I was a teenager, so I would like to share with you some of the stuff that I've written in there. Japanese people don't really share their mental state with anyone, even their families sometimes. And I thought, what can I do to maybe be a small part in changing that from now on? I do see a glimmer of hope because I am starting to see Japanese people that are starting to talk openly about their mental health. But in general, there is not a mental health day or a mental anything still in Tokyo or in Japan. So all my life, I've been writing about my issues and trying to deal with them the best I can. And last year sometime, I don't quite remember, but I had kind of like a not a mental breakdown per se, not that extreme, but I got really tired of just dealing with things year after year. It seemed like I was hitting the same wall over and over again. And I just got really tired of, quote, dealing with my feelings and trying to better myself and all that good stuff. By the way, this concoction that I'm making is really good for your skin health and nails, the silica especially. And I take glutamine for my gut lining health because I'm pretty sure I have leaky gut. I have all the symptoms of, say, allergies, and I'm intolerant to dairy and gluten. So I just try my best to take care of my health overall too. I take this in the morning on an empty stomach. I'll show you some of the other supplements I'm taking later on. So my husband and I usually don't eat together. And I know that sounds like, whoa, are you guys okay? But we've been together for a very, very long time, and this just works for us. I know it's not conventional, but nothing about me is very conventional. So, yeah, over the years, this just worked for us. And so right now, I'm just making his dinner first since he said he was hungry, and I'll eat mine a little later. By the way, I'm making shabu shabu nabe at home just for one person, since this is one of his favorite dishes. So anyways, back to what I was saying. So last year I was just like, is there any point on working on myself and dealing with all these issues, since, we're just gonna die at the end anyways? I was struggling for a while there. So I stopped journaling, I stopped thinking about things and looking inside, and just, I don't know, try to live like a normal human being. But then I noticed that I was starting to crave comfort food and junk food, and started watching trashy TV shows that were filled with drama. Usually I like to listen to podcasts and uplifting videos, but I noticed that I was getting sucked into just watching negative content. There's this word in Japan called nagiyari, which is to kind of throw in the towel. And I was definitely feeling nagiyari for some time. Very apathetic and blasé about everything. After a month or two of being in that phase, I realized that this mental state is far worse than trying to deal with everything and facing my feelings. And I didn't want to live like that for the rest of my life either. It seemed like the more I tried to distract myself or run away, or just kind of not look at my feelings and bury my head in the sand, the more my fears and issues just got louder. Do you guys ever feel like that? So I thought, okay, this is probably life trying to teach me a lesson. I can't give up on myself or my life. So I started to slowly get back into writing and listening to podcasts. And around then, just randomly, I started listening to people that were saying that life is a place where we learn our life lessons. And since I kept hearing that from different people over and over again, I thought, okay, I'm on the right path. Then people like Elizabeth Gilbert and the singer Jewel, among other brilliant minds, were saying that working on themselves were a full-time job. These were women who have a huge career and is busy all the time, but yet they prioritize themselves over their careers. This was mind-blowing to me. I mean, even though I've been journaling all my life, there was a part of me that thought, am I just wasting time doing this? as you know, the world really encourages and praises productivity. So I almost felt guilty for taking the time to journal, even. By the way, I love real butter, but since I react to it, coconut ghee will do. So anyway, even though I told you that I've been journaling all my life, I've journaled and then I would go off of it because I felt like I was wasting my time or something. So whenever I would feel a little depressed, I would write for a while and then I would hurry up and get over it, and then I would kind of try and lead a quote normal life. I didn't know this, but Jewel has a mental health foundation and a website. And her story is incredibly inspirational. And she said that her career is not in her songs, but herself. That she wants to create her own masterpiece in herself. Elizabeth Gilbert also said that taking care of herself and making herself happy is her full-time job, not her writing. Oh, by the way, I always keep my sausages in the freezer so they don't go bad. And the blueberry and collagen smoothie, I always make batches at once, so I'll probably film it the next time I make it. And I've stopped buying fresh avocado in Japan since there are a lot of hits and misses, mostly misses, and they are crazy expensive for a tiny, tiny avocado. If you just thaw out frozen avocado, it tastes awful. But if you cook it like this, it tastes pretty good. So I'm happy with that. So anyway, the messages from these two women really spoke to me. I have to be the one that makes me happy. It's my responsibility. And at the end of the day, only I can make myself happy. And there's no shame in thinking that. We tend to turn to external factors to make us happy. Because it feels pretty daunting to do it ourselves. I mean, I don't know about you, but I feel like it takes a lot of work to make myself happy. Because in order to do that, I have to look inside myself on a daily basis to first see if I am happy or not. I don't just wake up happy. I mean, I wish I was that kind of person who woke up early, bright and cheerful, but I'm just not. And looking inside yourself is not always fun. Because some of us are naturally negative oriented. But after you face and deal with that, it's like the clouds part and you see the sky. For me, it's always like that. Let me know how you guys deal with your own issues down in the comments below. I would really appreciate that. Before experiencing this last year and listening to these women, I've always felt like writing journals was what weak people did, and I felt a little bit like a weirdo. But after being nagiyari for a couple months, I finally made a commitment that I was gonna fully embrace this process of working on myself for the rest of my life. I know it sounds super dramatic, and it is, but I'm just so sick of hitting the same wall, dealing with the same issues over and over again. I just want to be done with that. I know that my issues will still be there, but I want to change the way I deal with it. I don't want to say that overcoming all my issues is the ultimate goal. Because that will only put pressure on me. And it's not like if I overcome my issues, I'm done and everything is going to be fine. I'll keep having new issues because we're all human. But I want to become better in dealing with things. By the way, thick buttered toast is one of my favorite foods in the whole world. So yesterday I was listening to a Brené Brown interview, and she said, quote, "It's okay to feel scared. Everyone's scared. But we need to be careful about the armor we choose to protect ourselves. That bleep is heavy." I love that she curses in public. She continued to say, "There comes a point when universe says, I'm not bleeping around anymore. I gave you gifts and the armor is getting in the way. You need to grow into the gifts I gave you. Let go of what's not serving you so you can become who you want to be." And that really spoke to me. I got a little too ambitious with my tuna right there. So for me, what wasn't serving me was my resistance to journaling and dealing with my emotions. I'm curious, do you guys have anything that is not serving you? And you feel like it might be better off letting it go, but you're kind of resistant to it? And gosh, this whole putting on the armor thing to protect myself. Yeah, I have to deal with that too. So my battery died, so I apologize for the abrupt cutoff. So if you made it this far, thank you so much for watching my video. I know there's a lot of imperfections in this clip, but I'm hoping that I'll get better and better as time goes, so thanks for your patience.